What is up? Rosie O'Donnell warned. Did she play? I think she played. I gotta look it up. I'm gonna look it up while it's going. She played riding the bus with my sister. I think that's who played that movie. Man, that joint was funny as I don't know. She played that part. Hey, Rosie O'Donnell warns us about Diddy 20 years ago, bringing old receipts from Diddy's TLC. Yeah, that's TLC. They know. See, here's the thing, y'all. Even back then, she made the joke because they know the rumors about what Diddy did or what happened to TLC with the Clive Davis and all this stuff. The grapevine, dude, think about the grapevine in your family and who talking about who. Every time I look, he asking for money, but he don't never pay back. And this is a family member. Your brothers or sisters, you know how the grapevine is. So-and-so told me he done did it again. The grapevine. You know how the grapevine is. It's the same way. You get the same dirt in the music industry or whatever the case may be. Man, y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Hey, let's check this bad boy out, man. Here we go. Peace to everybody, man.
Year. A lot of multiple nominees, multiple Grammy nominees this year. Lauryn Hill's got 4, TLC's got 8, and Sean Combs 5 to 10. Get it? Like he's going to jail?
Right.
All right.
He did the ultimate no. You don't do that, and he did that, and I'll never take him back. So it's a done deal. He killed it. He did. He really did.
It was one of those type of situations. And when probably say, yo, man, I don't F with them niggas. Man, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent her to the hospital? Man, Nick was bleeding from the butt. And that's what was said.
Y'all, it looks like the internet is on fire. And guess who just got the last laugh after 20 years of people sleeping on her? Miss Rosie O'Donnell. Yes, ma'am, the mouthy queen of the 2000s daytime TV just resurfaced like a ghost from scandals past, holding a receipt so sharp it might as well be Exhibit A in the federal case against Diddy. Because back in the year 2000, while everybody else was fawning over red carpets and Grammy glamour, Rosie O'Donnell cracked a joke that didn't just age well, it aged like a prophecy. Lauryn Hill's got 4, TLC's got 8, and Sean Combs 5 to 10. As in years, Suge. As in years. And what was Diddy dealing with at the time? Charges, guns, nightclubs, and a whole lot of celebrity cleanup. But here's the wild part. Rosie O'Donnell wasn't just laughing at Diddy, no. She was holding court, arms around TLC girls like a mama bear. And if you watch the clip real close, you'll see it. The look on Chilli's face, that laugh was a little too loud. The kind of laugh that reads, girl, if you only knew. Now, Diddy's being investigated for everything from trafficking to racketeering, and Rosie, she's back on TikTok like, y'all finally catching up? So pull up a chair, y'all, because this rabbit hole's got velvet ropes, VIP trauma, and decades of secrets behind the beat. But let's get into this shocking tea because Miss Rosie O'Donnell wasn't the only one sending subliminals, and what the industry knew back then is certainly starting to look real ugly right now. So picture it, February 2000, the Grammy Awards were all glitz, glamour, and gossip, and TLC was at the peak of their fame. Diddy was already wrapping up a legal drama from the infamous nightclub shooting that would follow him around for years. And Rosie, well, she was the daytime queen, bold, brash, and unfiltered. On her talk show that week, she sat with TLC girls Left Eye, T-Boz, and Chilli, all glowing and giggling, but then Rosie dropped the line.
A lot of multiple nominees, multiple Grammy nominees this year. Lauryn Hill's got 4, TLC's got 8, and Sean Combs 5 to 10. Get it? Like he's going to jail?
Right.
All right.
Y'all cue the laughter, nervous, and a little bit too loud because Chilli snorted. But pay close attention, it wasn't just carefree, it was layered. The kind of laugh that fills dead air when you know the truth is way too raw to say out loud.
And he's a nice guy and he can really sing.
Because the girls, they knew everyone. They were everywhere, and at the time, Chilli was deep in the romance with Usher, and a romance that started shortly after Usher had spent his formative years under Diddy's mentorship. mentorship that in hindsight is looking more and more like a grooming pipeline. But let's not forget, Miss Rosie O'Donnell wasn't just guessing. She lived on Star Island, 2 doors down from Diddy. She knew things, she saw things. In a 2023 TikTok, she even recalled it.
Now, P. Diddy was my neighbor on Star Island. And although I only met him once, he did invite me to his New Year's Eve party, which I believe everybody was wearing white, but we didn't know. And we had on like sweatpants, me and my family and my kids.
Saying, yeah, Rosie O'Donnell and her fam were invited to one of his infamous parties, but they missed it all because they didn't get the all-white memo and they were refused entrance. So what did Diddy do to make up for it? He rented out an entire movie theater for the whole day, just for Rosie and her family. Now, what kind of guilt-driven overcompensation is that?
Which was so unbelievably over the top and extraordinary, you know.
Well, Rosie brushed it off as an extravagant kindness, but let's be real, it was given please don't talk. And she didn't, not then, but now, y'all, she's all the way talking. She's joking, yes, but her tone's different. There's grief under that comedy, there's shock, there's like someone who didn't want to believe the worst, but now can't unsee the truth. Because after years of whispers, lawsuits, and NDAs, and all the masks slipping, Diddy's facing some serious federal heat, and every celebrity moment we brushed off as a little bit extra is now under different kind of light. And that TLC interview is being passed around like a final puzzle piece because maybe, just maybe, Rosie wasn't just making a joke. Maybe she was warning us. Maybe Chilli's laugh wasn't a giggle, it was a cry in code. But y'all, this isn't even the start of it, because if Rosie O'Donnell saw that much from the outside looking in, just wait until we dig into what Chilli, Usher, and half the early 2000s R&B scene we're dealing with behind those velvet robes. Now, when Rosie cracked the code on a now iconic joke on national television, the moment was supposed to be lighthearted, but what came out of Chilli was a release. So why would Chilli react like that? Well, let's rewind a little bit. At the time, she was in a high-profile relationship with Usher baby, America's teenage heartthrob at the time. But behind the magazine covers and red carpet kisses, there was some messy mess. Usher wasn't just some new kid on the block. He had just spent years under the mentorship of none other than Diddy. And let's be honest, everybody in the scene knew that Diddy's mentorship wasn't piano lessons in Studio 101. It was parties, girls, private jets, and allegedly some downright disturbing situations that left folks scarred for life.
I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah, that's what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
in the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Now, Chilli had a front row seat to Usher's unraveling, and if Usher even whispered the truth in bed or during a tour bus confession, and you bet she heard things that still keep her up at night. But that's what makes her laugh on Rosie's couch feel so loaded, because that wasn't just about a funny joke, that was about something we all now know. And it isn't just speculation, because people have been saying for years that Chilli kept her distance from Diddy on purpose. Even at industry events, she moved like she had a sixth sense, like she knew who not to be seen with and who to avoid backstage and who to never let her drink around. Now, she never confirmed what we all thought she knew and never sat down for a tell-all, but in the shadows behind closed doors, folks say that Chilli's been quietly warning other people, pulling women aside and whispering, stay away from him, don't go to that party, say you got a curfew. And that's not a rumor, that's survival. If it makes you wonder, what else did she see? What does she hear from Usher? And what kind of pressure wasn't she allowed to speak on, but knew too well to ignore? Because y'all, it all leads back to Flavor Camp. Let's get one thing straight. Flavor Camp wasn't some kiddie summer camp. It was Diddy's twisted boot camp for stardom. And Usher, he was 14 years old when he was shipped off to live at Diddy's penthouse. 14, y'all. And he wasn't there for a weekend workshop. He lived with Diddy for a whole year. Can you imagine being a teenage boy thrown into that type of environment and every powder imaginable on a golden tray and grown men partying like it's the end of the world every night?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and like nonstop, right?
Nah, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but hey, it was
Not
curious. I got a
really.
chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
seeing?
went there to see the lifestyle,
Right.
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
Let me tell you something. When a man can't finish a sentence about his childhood, that isn't nostalgia. That's trauma trying not to surface. And Gene Deal, Diddy's ex-bodyguard, dropped a bombshell when he confirmed that Usher and Diddy had a situation. One so bad it allegedly landed Usher in the hospital.
It was one of those type of situations. And when people say, yo, man, I don't F with them niggas. Man, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent her to the hospital? Man, Nick was bleeding from the butt. And that's what was said.
But here's where it gets even darker. Some reports say that Usher's
that's
mother
crazy.
confronted Diddy about what happened. There were whispers of infections, rumors of a hospital stay, and some say there's even footage from security cameras that Kim Porter found. Footage so disturbing, it broke her spirit. So when Usher turned around and praised Diddy in that Club Shay Shay interview saying, "He taught me everything," y'all, it just felt like an industry cringe.
But he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business. Right? I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation.
Usher's silence makes sense when you look at it through a lens of survival, and when you watch now how awkward he gets around Diddy, the stiffness, the fake smile, the energy shift.
Usher, how you been, man? I've been seeing you so long.
How much did we drink?
You don't even know what's going on. You trying to say something, Usher?
I'm trying to say something.
What do you want to say?
I don't know if I should, but I'm trying. Well,
It's like watching the kid
Wow,
still
that's
scared of a
crazy.
man who raised him in hell. No wonder his relationship with Chilli crumbled. It wasn't just about cheating, it was about pain. And Chilli, bless her heart, probably saw that pain and couldn't fix it. Even when Usher proposed to her, she knew she had to say no. So when Rosie O'Donnell joked that Diddy was headed for a 5 to 10 and Chilli low-key lost it, she wasn't laughing at a punchline. She was laughing at the truth. And that truth is echoing louder than ever right now with Diddy's trial in full bloom. So let's be realistic for a millisecond. Some rumors just refuse to die. And in Diddy's case, the darkest ones come with receipts we're still trying to verify. Allegedly, sometime during Usher's mentorship under Diddy, something happened that landed him in the hospital. And that's not fan fiction. That came straight from Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, who said flat out that Usher and Diddy had a situation. And Gene claims to have seen Usher being rushed to a hospital bleeding from where no one should. Why? Allegedly, and this is the word floating around the industry whispers for years, it had something to do with STD. One that Usher didn't just allegedly get, but might have allegedly passed on. To who? Well, fans have long speculated that Chilli, his girlfriend at the time, may have been the one who got burned, literally and figuratively. And some even say that was an ultimate no-no, and she spoke about when she ended things on live radio.
He did the ultimate no-no. You don't do that. And he did that, and I'll never take him back. So it's a done deal. He killed it. He did. He really did.
But let's be clear, Chilli never said the words outright, but the timeline is messy, the rumors are loud, and then there's these viral clips like these that kind of speak for themselves.
my brother right here from day one, we used to wake up and, pause, but like just back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the frosted flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented.
Y'all, I'm speechless. Chilli loved Usher too. That much is clear, and she called him her first adult love. But when she decided to end things, she completely cut him off. And while the public was stuck on the cheating narrative, insiders always ran it way deeper. And while the public was stuck on this cheating narrative, these are my confessions, insiders always said it ran way deeper. That Chilli saw something she couldn't unsee, that Usher confessed to something that he couldn't take back. We've seen her avoid Diddy like the plague. We've seen her stay silent when asked about certain parties. And behind the scenes, multiple sources say that Chilli warned other women to stay away from that circle. And when she refused his post-breakup proposal, that wasn't about drama. That was about self-protection. Chilli isn't just heartbroken as an ex. She's a witness, a survivor by proximity. And her silence ain't weakness. It's strategy. Because once you know the truth about Diddy's world, the truth becomes dangerous. We're talking lethal. Kim Porter, found dead right before she was allegedly set to go public with the damning footage. Tupac, folks still whisper that Diddy had a hand in his murder, something that haunts people in hip-hop for decades. And just last month, Cassie testified in court that Diddy used humiliating tapes to blackmail her into silence. Now, Rosie cracking that joke 25 years ago, but wasn't alone. Behind the glitz and Grammys, there were others side-eyeing Diddy's whole empire. So let's start with Miss Jaguar Wright, who's basically been screaming into the void since the early 2000s.
I can't wait for everybody to find out what's really been going on in the background.
She said she knew way too much about what went down at Diddy's parties and that one of her close industry friends, a powerful female lawyer, once walked in on Diddy and Christopher Williams in the middle of something explicit. Now, what happened when she walked away? Well, allegedly nothing. They just kept going like they didn't care who saw. Then we had Exhibit, who went on record calling his New Year's Eve night with Diddy the gayest night of my life. Again, his words. He said Diddy took him and Superhead to a wild VIP party where men were kissing and people were half naked and Diddy was out here acting like it was business as usual. Wendy Williams, honey, she ain't never liked Diddy. From the earliest days of her radio career, she'd hint at what really happens behind the scenes at Bad Boy Records. And then there's the bodyguard stories. Not just Gene Deal. Multiple former staff have described locking doors, guarding hotel rooms, and seeing men flee from Diddy's suites half-dressed. Even Diddy said some wild stuff in his early 2000s interviews, like this.
They just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but rock with me, but just check it out. You need a lot of heat.
The thing is, back then, we didn't want to believe it. Diddy was rich, charming, and throwing white parties in the Hamptons. It was easier to play it off as just comedy. Now that audience laughing makes everyone's stomachs turn. And here's where it gets even messier, because some folks think Usher went from victim to middleman, and in the name of the middle of that next chapter, Justin Bieber. Let's not forget it was Usher who took young Justin under his wing. The moment Justin hit YouTube fame, it was Usher who snatched him up and introduced him to the big leagues. And shortly after, Diddy came knocking. Diddy once bragged about buying Justin a Lambo, letting him sleep at his mansion and mentoring him. Sound familiar? Because it should. Fans noticed real quick that Justin started pulling away from Diddy, and fast. There's even footage of Diddy confronting Justin and asking why they stopped hanging out, and let me tell you, Justin was in pure discomfort.
Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number, so.
Right, okay.
My number?
Then right after Diddy's arrest, Justin went on an Instagram rant about his teenage years while unfollowing Usher and a bunch of other people close to Diddy. He deleted the videos after, but they were live long enough for folks to connect the dots. At the same time, Usher's tweets on Diddy started disappearing. All of them. When he was asked about it, he claimed his account was hacked, but hacked just to delete tweets that could be damning? Come on now. And here's where it gets even more chilling. Some people believe that Usher knew what kind of man Diddy was and still brought Justin around him. Was it loyalty or trauma playing out in real time? These are whispers that Justin might have been targeted in the same way that Usher was. But Diddy promised him the world, and Justin eventually realized the cost. Worse, some say Usher tried to warn him, but way too late. Others think Usher couldn't break the cycle, that after years of being shaped by Diddy, he didn't know how to protect someone else, just how to repeat the same dance. And here's the part that hurts. If true, that means Usher never healed. He just passed on the pain. It's a heartbreaking pattern in this industry. But now that the feds are crawling through Diddy's past like bloodhounds, everybody's turning their eyes to Usher too. not as a villain, but as a key witness. And y'all, when that day comes, the industry better hold its breath. Diddy's not just a man on trial, he's a blueprint, a product of industry that hands young black boys to rich older men and call them an opportunity. They call it mentorship, but what is it really when you're 14 years old, broke and alone in a mansion with someone holding your dreams hostage? This isn't just about Diddy and Usher, it's about Cuba Gooding Jr., Justin Bieber, Meek Mill, and all the other redacted names in these lawsuits. Lil Rod claimed that Diddy bragged about passing young men around like party favors. And you think all those dinner guests, all those industry execs and celebs didn't notice? Let's talk about Miss Kris Jenner, who Kanye just accused of knowing exactly what Diddy was doing. He even claimed that Diddy helped pay for her face surgery to keep her quiet. Y'all, that's not gossip, that's strategy too. Plastic hush money in plain sight. But let's talk about Kim Porter, the woman who allegedly found tape.
Did she say plastic hush money in plain sight? That's funny. Plastic surgery, plastic hush money, and it ain't working. Can't y'all tell that this plastic surgery is not working? It ain't working. It ain't working.
Rita, keep her quiet. Y'all, that's not gossip, that's strategy too. Plastic hush money in plain sight. But let's talk about Kim Porter, the woman who allegedly found tapes that showed everything. And some say that's why she died. Some say she was getting ready to go public. Either way, she knew something powerful enough to make the entire room could go cold. But let's talk about them parties, the NDAs, the assistants, the stylists, the drivers, all the people who played and stayed quiet while these boys were being handed over like gifts. And all the women, Chilli, Cassie, Rosie, who tried to warn us their own way. So now we know. Rosie O'Donnell wasn't just being funny, she was ringing the alarm. And maybe, just maybe, we should have listened to the ones who didn't play the Hollywood game. And now it's your turn. Do you think that Chilli really knew about what was going on with Diddy and Usher? Was Usher trying to protect Justin, or did he unknowingly repeat the cycle? And how deep do you think this rabbit hole really goes? Drop your thoughts and theories and your hottest takes in the comments, because the trial is heating up and the receipts are coming in hot. So like, subscribe, and stay locked in, because when the truth drops, we'll be here to break it all the way down. And it ain't over, not by a long shot.
Not by a long shot. Yeah. The messy T. I like that right there, man. I like the way she breaking things down. Hey, look here. I'm going to get on up out of here, man. Diddy, you done did a lot of things wrong. And I think some of the people you're looking, I really think that what you're aiming at, the people you're looking for, has a little go both ways in them. You know, I got a couple of little friends. I got some friends of mine, and I can look at their kids and tell that they're going to be a little, all they need is a little extra push, and that's what Diddy is doing. Look, man, this is okay. It is? You know, no, it ain't okay. So I think Usher and Justin and all of them, man, I feel sorry for Justin, because he woke up one day and said, I don't want to be gay no more. I'm thinking. You know, I don't want to be passed around. I like women. That's why he got married. You know, I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Hey, I can barely hold my eyes open, man. I'm so sleepy. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Y'all tell him Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.